AI is getting a pretty bad name, especially in the creative industries, music included there as well, because we fear that it's going to replace the artists themselves. And I think it's a valid concern that we should all be working on. But if we could utilize that ability to take care of the technical aspects of your own creation, then hopefully we can make a world where you can use that to make your own productions much better. And I think that's where IoT comes in as one of the companies working in this field, where hopefully what we'll do is that you as a producer will to focus specifically on the things that you actually want, while not making the AI automate tasks for you, but actually bring in personality as in other collaborators using their virtual selves. And in that way, you'll be able to really have full control over the final creative result. Again, while it takes shares of the technical aspect.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think about AI music as putting in text prompts and some magic happens within the software. A rabbit comes out of the hat and you have a song. And while that is probably helpful for, say, a marketing executive who needs to come up with a quick 30-second song to go with some content, it really leaves out the creativity.
Yeah, so I think at this point where we see all these models that, just like you said, are based on like these text prompts and just outputs a full song out of there, it's not really useful for producers in many different aspects, but the main one being that you don't have control over the actual outcome. You could try reprompting it, you could maybe like edit parts of it, but you don't feel like a producer, and rightly so. You don't have control over the aspects within the song itself. Some interesting use cases that I do see using these models are trying to create samples, just like traditionally you would get some sort of sample and then use that within a production. But still, the most important phase afterwards would be to be the producer and use that as a sample and produce a song over that. And I think, again, IoT, what we're trying to do here is instead of creating these like super generic models where you just give it some direction of song that you want it to create and it outputs a full song, instead of there, we're putting the producers at the steering wheel. And I'll just take a step back here and say that the current existing technologies, even if we're not talking about AI at all, to create the layers within your song are either very, very technical, specifically talking about MIDI or dropping in loops and samples, which is amazing. Not shaming that at all. Really gives you full control over those aspects. But the problem is that the workflow itself is not as creative and you're limited by the available sounds and options that each one of those different tools have. It's kind of like an easy question to ask that every producer around the world would probably always want to work with a real musician if they had the chance. The problem with working with a real musician is that, first of all, the cost, you need to have a studio. And even if you do have that budget and capabilities, you might end up with the recordings that you had in the session. And then afterwards, you just want to tweak that one last thing, but you're not in the recording session anymore. So we just don't have that option. And what IoT is trying to do is just get the best from both worlds. We work with real musicians and we create their own virtual versions. And when I say virtual versions, it's not something that just sounds like them. It includes everything down to the sound design, but more importantly, the way that they approach music, the way that they listen to a producer's song, the existing tracks, the way that they listen to the instructions. And that way, we're trying to reproduce the flow of a producer sitting with a musician in the studio, letting them listen to what already exists, even if it's nothing, giving them some instructions, and then slowly building from there the final song. So again, that diverts from you having no control over what the AI does to having full control and choosing the personas and specific styles using those different virtual musicians to work with you on the song itself. And importantly, saying that the musicians on the other side will get their own cut out of the usage of their own virtual musicians. So hopefully, again, on the other side, this will help musicians get another revenue stream there, which we all know is a problem. Music doesn't create a good income, at least for most session musicians.